Hi everyone, this is Carolyn Speaks the State of Our World on Sunday, May 17, 2020. The state of the world is not too good. The coronavirus continues to reign supreme. Still a shortage of personal protective equipment for first responders, frontline workers, healthcare workers, delivery workers, postal workers, grocery store workers, all kinds of people. And so we need the personal protective equipment. There's also still a shortage of tests to find out who has the virus. The way to beat the virus is to test everyone. Someone tests positive, you trace their contacts. Any of those contacts are traced positive, who tests positive, you trace their contacts, etc. And anyone who tests positive for the virus, you isolate those people and you treat them and get them well. Now, the one unfortunate result of this virus, with everybody sheltering in place, people are at home more, and if someone is in a domestic abuse environment, then that is a problem, because if you have to stay home to shelter in place, be in lockdown, and you're in a home with a domestic abuse situation, you can't leave. You have to stay there. So it's kind of, people say it's a perfect storm for violence. So there have been a lot of calls for help to domestic violence hotlines, and it's definitely a problem. In this country, mental health is a problem. There's very few resources for mental health. Health insurance companies cover very little of the expenses of domestic mental health. So domestic violence, domestic abuse is a very big problem here. It's something that needs to be dealt with. And this is something that is more prevalent now that we're all in quarantine mode, in lockdown. Now, with regard to something mentioned yesterday, the State Department is headed by Mike Pompeo, and Mike Pompeo recommended that the watchdog for the State Department be fired. So Pompeo advised the firing of State Department watchdog, and White House put that in a memo. Apparently, the Pompeo was using the watchdog who's a staffer, to do personal errands like walk his dog, pick up laundry, etc. So he's taken advantage of the situation, and that is very unfortunate. Now, the coronavirus is here. However it got here is not important. The fact is, once it got here, the Trump administration did not do anything to find out and start working to protect us all by issuing a lockdown of the country, basically. That would have been good, but that didn't happen. They did not do anything to isolate people, to make sure we had enough tests, to make sure we had enough personal protective equipment. None of that stuff happening. And in various countries, the whole world has had to deal with, and still dealing with, the coronavirus. The British, under Boris Johnson, had a similar attitude to Trump as far as, oh, it's a hoax, it's not real, until he got the virus, and he took it a little more seriously. So the thing is, there is now going to be a World Health Assembly, and the World Health Organization is kind of in charge of that, and hopefully that'll be a positive experience. But based on Trump's reaction to taking the virus seriously and doing his job, the World Health Assembly might not accomplish that much if Trump is there and tries to disrupt it. So we shall see what happens. Now, We have other things happening in the world. This is hurricane season. Hurricanes are coming, and that is another problem we have to deal with. If you're in a state that gets a lot of hurricanes, then that's another something else you have to deal with. I grew up in New York City, and every late summer and fall we had hurricanes arriving, and power lines came down. Power was off, so it was something I have a lot of personal experience with. We get power lines coming down. We had to wait for the electric company to come and first of all they turn off the power, and then they had to safely remove those power lines and restore the power lines as best they could. Now, so that is definitely something we deal with, I guess mainly on the East Coast and the Southeast. So that's something else that's happening. Now, we also have we still have primaries going on. It's election season. We're going to have an election in November for the president, for the whole House of Representatives, for the Senate, for all kinds of local and state officials. It's going to be going on. The election is going to be in November. And we're still talking about making sure that everyone can vote. And the goal is to have everyone vote by mail. Many states are thinking of doing that. The president doesn't like that idea, even though he and his wife are permanent mail ballot voters in their current residence in Florida. So hopefully we'll all be voting by mail. Every state will send a ballot to every citizen, and then it's up to each citizen to fill out the ballot and send it in to their local voting office, and then we have the results. So hopefully that will happen. Now, we still have vulnerable populations that need help. We have healthcare workers, we have homeless people, we have residents of shelters, of assisted living homes, of retirement homes, veterans homes. We have farm workers who work very closely to each other, and they travel and live together very closely. Very good way to spread the virus. And then we also have migrant workers who are here to seek asylum and have been sent to detention centers, again living in close quarters. We have jails and prisons all over the country where people are living in close quarters. They do not have the ability to have a social distance of 6 feet. Not going to happen in a prison or a jail. So those are things we have to work on. There is thought of seeing if they could find a way to have a dog detect if someone has the coronavirus. Dogs can detect the presence of certain illnesses, and so who knows, maybe that'll work. There's still a quest to develop a vaccine, but it seems to be getting like a competition between countries, or some countries working together, other countries, working on their own. But whenever a vaccine is developed, it really has to be shared with the whole world. So there are about 300 plus million people in the United States. Worldwide, there are several billion people. So whoever develops the virus has to share it. And that way everyone will be protected. What we're hearing in the news, if Trump in the United States develops a virus first, Trump is going to try his best to make it just available to U.S. residents. Hopefully all of us, but who knows? And the vaccine should be free. So here we get into access to health care and things like that. So We really need to have a vaccine that's available to everyone, also have everyone have good access to health care. And another thing that's happening is the census. Every 10 years, there's a count of everyone living in the United States. And that is to make sure that we know how many people live in every locality, town, city, county, state, etc. And that's to plan for all the needs of the country and the resources. It also is to allocate how many representatives, say, a state could have. So if a state's population declines, they get fewer representatives in the U.S. House of Representatives. Senators, there's 2 senators for every state, regardless of population, but the House of Representatives is different. So there's a lot of things going on, and we need to do the right thing. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. If you happen to have a family member or friends you're close to living in assisted living or retirement home, why not think of bringing them into your home where they will be safer and they will be grateful. Of course, you'll have more people living in a home, but that's okay. We're all getting used to living in close quarters. The lockdown is not the same in every state. Some states are loosening the lockdown quarantine requirements, and that is going poorly or badly depending on where this is occurring. And so hopefully we will get this right, and states should remain in everyone should remain in lockdown, basically indefinitely till this is solved. Now, the Trump administration wants to reopen the country, get everyone back to work, back to business as usual. Doesn't matter if people get sick, if people die. The important thing is to open up the country. He and his advisors say there's be more death, loss of illness and death due to people committing suicide if they continue to be in lockdown. I don't really think that's true, but that's his argument, not mine, not the argument of majority of people. So, thinking of all that, what else would you like to do? Well, I think maybe it's time for a little bitty song. The song I'm thinking of today is The Water is Wide, which is a very old song. Nice song, I think. Pretty song. Okay, here we go. Oh, the water is wide, I cannot cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. But give me a boat that can carry 2, and both shall row, my love and I. I leaned my back up against an oak. I thought it was a trusty tree, but first it bended, and then it broke, as did my false Lord to me. Oh, love is sweet, and love is fair, fair as the dew, when first it is new. But love grows old, and waxes cold, and fades away like the morning dew. All right, I think that might do that for us. I thank you all for tuning in, for listening. Hope you like the song, The Water is Wide. Have another one for you tomorrow. Hope to see you all back here tomorrow evening for another meeting with Carol Ann Speaks, The State of Our World. So I bid you all adieu. Take care of yourself. Take care of everyone. Take care of the family and friends. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Thank you. Be safe. Good night.